old school fixing jobs on modern equipment, well, you're in the right place, because that's what we're going to do today. So today on the list of things to fix is a W235 John Deere windrower. Now, as you may notice, there's a wire here. Okay, so that wire goes right there. And I actually have the repair part, or the replacement part. But before I get into this, the other day we were running this and it gave me a code that the what would they call it, the breather filter, the engine crankcase vent filter is what is housed in here. Okay, so what happens is, years ago you just had a breather or a vent and it would vent out into the atmosphere, and you know, the oil would do its thing. Well, still vents into the atmosphere right here, but the oil, that is the vapor, oil vapor, is captured within this filter, filtered through, and then it goes back into the crankcase where it can be not lost. There is, to some degree, a slight amount of oil that will come out of there. Well, it has a sensor. And this sensor, this is the new sensor, but this sensor goes into the side of the engine block right here. Now, they don't tell you where it is in any book or anything. You just have to figure it out on your own. And what this is basically just a pressure sensor, a very sensitive pressure sensor. If you change the filter, all right, let's go back a little bit. When you start getting that stop the engine, stop the tractor, it doesn't matter, anything that has one of these filters on it is going to have that crankcase pressure sensor. And all it does is measure the amount of pressure that is coming out of the breather. And if it gets too high, you can blow the crank seals, either the forward or the rear main, which you really do not want to do. So it's very important that you figure out what the real problem is. Now, a quick fix, farmer fix, or farmer diagnostic that you can do is to do this. Take that cap. Now there is a happy sweet spot here. So you go like that where it's just loose. Do that. So it's loose, not so, don't get it so that it'll fly out of there. Go in your tractor or mower or anything, start it up, wait approximately a minute and a half. In that minute and a half, it will give the computer enough time to say, okay, your pressure is where it belongs, or you still have a fault. And if you still have a fault, chances are it's this little guy. But if the fault goes away, you can replace this filter. Now, on some tractors, this hose, this is your vent hose, actually goes down along the frame and it's supposed to dangle out the bottom. And I saw on Western Truck and Tractor channel, the hose was actually pinched down in there. Now, Warren's a good guy. I mean, that is a man who has more knowledge of fixing all types of tractors than I could ever even imagine. I can get through them, but he knows. So he hooks his computer up and he can see what the engine's doing, what this thing is reading, and all that trouble that it could possibly have. Now, what he had was that hose pinched, which was creating a high pressure. Now, I thought maybe I had a blockage, because what I did was I took the filter out. Now, you can take that filter out of there and there will be absolutely zero pressure, which will also trigger the computer, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 99% sure that it will need somewhere between 2 and 5 pounds of pressure on that ventilator, somewhere's in there. And that's acceptable. If you don't have any pressure, that means that your cap, it'll tell you that your dipstick cap is loose or whatnot. Yeah, so you need a little bit of pressure on there. So if you just do what I did with that thing there, it'll allow a little bit of pressure to be registered. So if all of those things fail, here is how you determine whether this thing is still telling you there's extreme pressure in the crankcase. Pull it out, right? Or pull it out. Or, yeah, you pull it out of there, and then you turn the key on, wait your minute and a half, and if this little switch is bad, it will say extreme pressure, because it's in that locked open position. Now, that's how I pretty much figured out that that's exactly what it is. Now, you can't run your tractor. It is an incessant noise. This thing will just beep, 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 beep for hours and hours on end. And if you're deaf like me, that's okay, but you can't have a passenger in there. And eventually, it defuels your the power to your tractor or your mower, and it's defueled and you have no power. You can't do what you want to do. It's really annoying noise. It's really annoying power levels. It sucks. But to get through the days, you can do this very simple thing like I did. You can just unplug it, okay? So when you unplug that thing, it doesn't say stop. It just flashes you a warning. It doesn't defuel you. It doesn't do anything. And as long as you know that you don't have a pressure problem in your crankcase, it's okay. I did it for 3 days. 2 days? 2 days of mowing without that thing plugged in. It just has a little flashing triangle. It doesn't defuel you. It doesn't make awful noises. It just flashes this yellow thing. And I'm not that obsessive compulsive that I can't stand to see that every once in a while. So I ordered the part 3 days ago. I didn't run it yesterday, but I did run it the day before like that. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to take out. This is a 15/16 inch socket or wrench. You have to use a wrench. I don't think a socket will fit in there. It's always good to clean it up if you haven't. I didn't clean mine up because I'm me. And there it is. Alright, so you take your new one. Alright, take your new one and you just do this. You just screw that bad boy in there. Now the new one is a little different. Probably made in China. I don't know. I'm getting sick and tired of buying stuff that says made in China. Now, we all know that China makes crap. Okay, everybody knows this by now. China makes crap. Not only does China make crap, China tries to kill us. And China's actually trying to take us over. A little at a time. They're actually trying to take over the world with trade and other things. And they've done this in the past with Singapore. And I think they're trying to do it to the Philippines. I'm hoping that they get smart. The Philippines get smart. Duterte smartens up a little bit and says, hey, you know what? That's not a good thing. Okay, so that's it. Simply replaced. I know I cleaned this out. It did nothing to help it. I'm going to start my machine up and we'll see if that fixed it. Because right away, right off the bat, it's going to say, stop, stop, stop. You got a system fault. Which we shouldn't have right now. Now, I've already bought things and they are completely junk before you ever even put them in. Alright, so there it is. I had this thing running a little earlier. You can see I have a little bit of temperature there. Let me slow that thing down. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to let it run by itself here. Let it run by itself here for a little while, and we'll see in a minute and a half. So I'll see you in a minute and a half. I guess we could watch Cody hook up this hay rake to 7810 really quick. And that'll give us the minute and a half. We've already been past a minute and a half. No stop sign. It would be right there. It would be beeping like crazy, driving you absolutely out of your mind. It would just, so we've got it fixed. So you don't need the computer. You just need about 5 minutes and go through the steps that I have outlined there. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to fix it by yourself without calling out a John Deere tech at $115 an hour. And that really worked out well for me because it's not doing what it was doing. So now I can go mow hay without the flashing yellow light or the red light. And this is where the flashing yellow light is when you unhook that thing. I suggest changing the filter. If you haven't, change that first and then you can always go from there. I changed it. I changed it last year and it corrected the problem, but it was late in the season, so there's not dirty oil and there's clean oil in it, and it did it. So now I've got it fixed with a new part. Lights. So I just did a little bit of mowing with it and it's all good. No problems. No lights, no idiot lights. I just mowed down there, just around the corn there where you can see. I just wanted that done. So like I said, if that thing says that you've got a pressure problem in your crankcase, it says extreme crankcase pressure, you have got to, I gotta yell at these kids for putting those things up there. Malfunction lever problem. Oh. Yeah, I put my hand on the lever. That was me. It actually cleared when I let go of it. Weird. Anyway, yeah, so change filter. Filter don't work. Disconnect. Or, yeah. That's it. Change the filter. If that don't work, make sure nothing is plugged. If you still need to go, just unplug that thing. It'll give you a malfunction or a system fault, but you can still go. Just make sure that everything is clean and clear in that filter housing and that you don't have an extreme amount of pressure. And then order it and go from there. It'll fix it instead of having to deal with a lot of money. Now, if you do all that stuff, it's still going to cost you $92 for the part, no matter whether you have a Deere dealer come out anyway. So, yeah, nothing to reset or anything either. But there it is. Done. Done, done, and done. Okay, good morning. Just getting ready to go. I didn't get in until about 11 o'clock last night. And I started reading these comments this morning, and I had one that I just felt was just so incredible that I need to actually read it. Toby Walker Sr. He said, I hope by watching these videos, I can too become a perfect prick like Wes. This is such a great channel a few years ago. Now it's all complaining about everyone else. I'm not complaining about anybody else. What I'm doing is I'm saying, just like you, sir, if you don't like what you see here, and you want to see perfect editing, perfect mouth, perfect farming operation where nothing ever breaks, that you could go to those other channels and enjoy yourself there. Stop watching. I hope I see an unsub right there from you, sir. If not, okay, so let's see. Neglis Norica. Norieka? Are you going to do a walk around on the new edition of your fleet? Yeah, sure. One of these days I'll get around to walking around a 6210R with a H380 loader on it and tinted glass. It has been dubbed ghetto trash. That's what we call that tractor. Ghetto trash. Tinted glass, stinks to high hell of cigarettes, and it's ghetto trash. I got a question here. It says, have you had any luck with the horse people hay thief yet, Wes? Well, you know what? There's going to come a time when that will be resolved. It's not today, but it's coming. There's a couple of people involved in it, and we're going to see what happens. That's all. We're going to see what happens. Okay, so one last question before I get back to work here. What don't I like about the GoPro camera? Well, battery is one. It doesn't last. You get 15 minutes of footage, and 15-20 minutes of footage, and that's it. They're temperamental. If you're talking, they'll turn on, start recording when you don't want them to. They still have a fisheye lens. Sound quality outside of the case is great. Inside the case is awful. Let's see. What else? I don't know. Just the functions themselves, just trying to get it to go through the screen. See these hands? I have very large hands. If you didn't know, I have very large hands. Look at the size of these things. You know, make my head look small. Yeah, they are. They don't. It's hard for me to control the goddarn things. I hook it up to the telephone and still doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So that's what I don't like about GoPros, and I'm sure I could think of a dozen more things. Like if you leave it sit in the truck for an hour or a day or two, battery's stone cold dead. Never even use the damn thing, stone cold dead. But my main problem is batteries. There's no way to mount them other than GoPro mounts. I have a magnetic mount that I use right here, this guy, for this Rilo camera, which would be great for the GoPro, and it will work on a GoPro mount because it is a GoPro mount that I have that mounted to. The mounts are great. But when I go to stick it on stuff, it's just, they're a pain in my ass, which I should probably pop this Rilo off of here and go with a GoPro today. I've got 4 of them. I got 4 of them. You know, they're $700 a piece. You know, I mean, it's like insane money. They're not $700 a piece. What are they, $400 a piece? Anyways, I got a lot of money in those things. So that's what I don't like about GoPros. Anyways, see you later.